All right, part 2 of the season 9, episode 5, Rick's Departure podcast. And look who I found, Mr. JP, no longer blowing chunks. How are you?
I'm feeling much better, man. A little weary, a little worse for wear, but I'm all right. I took a medevac on a chopper, and I'm feeling a lot better now.
Oh, yeah, those are the things these days.
They can be very convenient.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, how are you feeling? Now, I got to ask you, were you of clear mind when you watched this episode?
Well,
because we can't have you, giving tainted reviews.
Well, all of my reviews come from the taint, first of all. That much I can tell you.
Is that why you never wear pants? That's what that wire's for. Okay.
Nonetheless. But no, I watched it twice. The first time I was a little woozy, little daisy. But,
feeling a little woozy here.
Yeah. I'm your daisy. But nah, I watched it, man. I enjoyed it.
That doesn't sound. Oh man, I thought you would love it. I loved it. I loved it. So yesterday, if you didn't get a chance to hear the podcast yesterday, it was just me. So I will give some of my thoughts on it, but you got pretty much all of my thoughts yesterday. So if you, after this podcast, feel free to go listen to that podcast, and you'll get a little bit more in depth of how I feel. Today, I kind of want to focus on how you feel because
listener.
No, you.
Oh, the JP.
The JP.
Oh, okay.
Man.
Okay. Well, I gotcha.
You were supposed to stop taking the pills yesterday.
Whose rule is that? I don't like that rule.
It's like I never stopped before.
Yeah.
But so I want to know what you thought of it. So take me through it, man. Take me through we'll let you do your thing and tell us how you feel, and then we'll discuss. So from front to back, what did you think? What did you like? What did you not like?
Oh, boy.
Because you look like you got something on your mind, and I really want to hear it.
Nothing very profound. I'm sure your review was more than ample. I mean, I thought it was overall a good episode, a good departure. Some of the you don't call them flashbacks. Some of the like mental, him talking to ghosts, basically. I loved the one with Shane. Obviously.
Everybody did. Shane's that was probably the best. Yeah, absolutely. But see, I'm gonna guess that because I guess you didn't like the Herschel one.
No, I like that.
You just didn't like the Sasha one.
I thought Sasha. I don't think it should have been like. I mean,
no, I agree. It was really cool to see Sasha, and
right.
I can agree. Oh man, it's cool to see Sasha. She's been gone for a whole season now. It's great. But her and Rick weren't like that tight. Like Herschel made sense because he was like a father figure to Rick. Shane was his best friend, and Sasha was just a member of the group. If anything, it could have been, which I get. Originally, and let me take back something before I turn it back over to you, because if I don't say this now, I will forget it. I had said yesterday I thought it didn't make any sense that Carl wasn't in those flashbacks, but some listeners set me straight. It made perfect sense that Carl wasn't in there because Kang said the reason why they didn't put Carl in those, like Rick's hallucinations, is because he was looking for his family. If he would have found Carl and or Lori, he would have been like, okay, I found him, and he'd laid down and died. You know what I mean? So that was what drove him, was not finding him. So that makes perfect sense, and I was wrong, though it still would have been cool to see Carl. But I agree. I thought Sasha was kind of out in left field.
Well, for one thing, I mean, it starts out, he's walking through the hospital, like dead outside is what
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
it had "don't" scratched out, and it said "open, dead outside."
I didn't even notice that the "don't" wasn't.
Yeah, it was crossed out.
Wow.
It was crossed out, and it just said "open, dead outside."
But yeah, to be honest, I think Dale would have been a much better fit.
A lot of our listeners don't like Dale, I found out recently.
I don't like Dale either, but I think he would have been a better fit for that scene. It needed to be someone from that camp. Honestly, I would have loved for him to turn around and it just heard a, well, Officer Friendly.
And it'd been Merle.
Would have been great.
Man,
that would have been really great.
Yeah, Merle would have been really good.
But Dale or even Andrea. Andrea would have been
screw that. I know
you hate Andrea, but just it needed to be someone.
Andrea is my most
camp,
hated character on this show. Like, she had her points, yes. After, I've watched this show, like, especially the first 4 seasons a million times. And I mean, she had her redeeming qualities at times, but overall, I don't feel guilty. I did not like Andrea.
Yeah, I liked her first 2 seasons.
No, I did not.
Anyway.
Season 1, I could deal with her a little bit better. Once she got into season 2 and she was trying, just felt too hard to prove herself. I don't know. I won't dig in her. She made a lot of really stupid. Once she refused to go back to her people, once she knew the governor was a liar, she knew he was just not a good guy. He had heads. I don't care what his excuse is. I won't go on a tangent. Don't like Andrea. She's stupid. Her character now, people get it twisted up. I'm not talking about the actress. The actress is fine. I had no problem with her as an actress.
Sure.
She's been in other stuff, and I thought she was great. She was in Silent Hill. She played the Laurie Holdham played the cop in Silent Hill, the movie, the first one, and I thought did a good job. So don't not like her. I just don't like the character of Andrea in the show. And I think it's because, too, I loved her so much in the comics. The screen to comic transition just was not good for her. But anyway, sorry, I went on a tangent.
No. I think that scene would have been perfect because I loved Andrea, especially. I mean, I understand.
You did
3.
not. Stop lying.
No, season 2, man. Like her and Shane.
That was when she was her most. Well, season 3 is when she was her most annoying.
No, her and Shane go into that little neighborhood or whatever, kill a bunch of zombies.
You just liked it because there was sex. That's the only reason you liked it.
Riding his pole in the car after they killed a bunch of zombies, man. That's the girl for me.
You just liked it. You just liked it because she was, quote, getting that butt.
Now look.
As you say.
I think that the perfect way to play that scene with Andrea is she should have just been like, look, Rick, I effed every bad guy on the show. I want some of that white hat, butt. I want some of that white hat. I'm just saying.
I want some. So what you're saying is what Andrea should have done is popped up in Rick's. As Rick is looking for his family and been like, look, here's the deal, Rick. I've screwed every bad guy. I'm trying to get me some good now. That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. And I think, just a little wet fever dream would have been That's
nice disgusting.
For Rick,
move forward.
No.
So aside from Andrea, who else would have been good to fill it? Because I've been kind of racking my brain too. Like it was cool to see Sasha,
but it didn't fit.
And
in my mind,
like I said yesterday, it was really cool to see her. And I like Sasha. I have no problem with Sasha. I never disliked her. I mean, she had her little time where I thought Michonne was going to whoop that ass. But I never disliked Sasha. But I do feel like it could have been. Originally, I had said Carl should have been the wisdom because they said it was kind of like the Wizard of Oz. Shane was the courage. Herschel was the heart, and Sasha was like the brain or whatever, like the wisdom.
I can see that.
But I don't know that Sasha would have been the wisdom. I mean, there were a lot of great characters that you could have brought back, and it might have just had to do with scheduling and getting certain certain people.
Just
Glenn would have been the best one.
Yeah,
Glenn without a doubt, Glenn would have been great to have been like the wisdom and to explain how like people that died and when we die. What we do doesn't die. Like that is Glenn up one side and down the other. The problem is Steven Yeun said he has no interest of coming back, not in flashbacks or nothing. So that does kind of suck. And I don't care, you thought Rick was a douchebag for leaving the show, which we find out he's not. Did you watch any Talking Dead?
I haven't watched any reviews.
Well, I'm about to rock you. I'm about to.
What are you going to?
I'll tell you that in a minute.
All right.
But just like you thought Andrew Lincoln was a douche for wanting to leave the show, which I didn't. I think that's kind of douchey of Glenn. I mean, they'll pay you, and I mean, odds are you'll only be on set for like a day. It's just good fan service. You know what I mean? Like these people love you for that, and I know you want to move on to bigger and better things, but dude, this is where you got your start. Don't forget where you came from. I mean, if they want you to do like a little cameo or something, make your fans happy, even if you don't like that show or those people. I mean, do it for your fans. I mean, we're the reason that you are where you are.
But at the same time,
don't you defend him?
I respect the fact that he wants that to be the last thing you ever see of Glenn.
No.
I respect that.
You think Rick's the douche, but Steven Yeun gets a pass.
Honestly, I think the flashback, the ghost thing, the hallucinations, I think they're a little cheap.
But you have to agree that Glenn would have been much better than Sasha.
Yeah.
Or made more sense in Rick's head.
Like I said, it should have been someone from the Atlanta camp.
Well, it's someone that Rick was closer with. I mean, he was really close with Shane. He was really close with Herschel, and then there's Sasha.
Yeah, he should have been like, remind me what your name is again.
But
it's been a while.
I got on a tangent.
I lost a lot of blood.
I lost a lot of blood. What was your name? Was it Sanja? Oh, Sasha.
I remember you were brothers with the big fella.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of seasons. I know
he went through the same thing I'm going through. He was seeing people too. Yeah. But so, all right, fill us in more. I'm sorry I'm talking so much. I didn't get to talk to you about this yesterday, so I'm trying to. But tell us more. Move past that. You weren't happy with Sasha. You loved the Herschel and you loved the Shane talk.
Yeah.
The Shane one was awesome, man.
Yeah, it was.
That was so natural. I feel like it had to be improvised to an extent.
And Sasha in a different setting would have been great. Like
right.
I would have loved to have seen Sasha, just not like in
as
that.
the wisdom.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, excuse me.
I was about to say, are you about to blow chunks again, man? Like, turn around or something.
Excuse
Christ.
me, but no, man, it was great, and it just.
I love the smack talking between Shane and Rick, but I like how, like, I thought, and I was wrong because I'm wrong 90% of the time with my predictions, but I had thought that Shane was going to show up kind of like to antagonize Rick. You know what I mean? To kind of be like, yeah, you let Lori die, you let Carl die, and like that was kind of the theme that Rick was going to be like, no, but look what we built. I love that. No, they were just sitting there and, shooting the breeze as friends again and talking crap. I love when Rick's like, I'm looking for my family. And Shane's like, you mean my family?
Yeah.
How you like raising my baby girl? And, she got my eyes, don't she? I love that Rick just laughs and he's like, yeah, but thank God she don't have your nose. And they're laughing. I love that, man.
Yeah. Because, at that point, what is there to really be mad about,
Well, and Shane told him when he was like, I'm sorry for when Shane's like, man, you got to move past that shit. That's old, and I loved it. Continue. This is the JP podcast. I'm sorry. I just get excited, man. I'm sorry. Continue.
No, it was great, man. I was a little worried about all the blood getting on his French fries as he was eating them, or chips or whatever they were. But other than that, it was great. That was just that stole the episode. That scene right there.
Did it?
Yeah.
I thought the Herschel one, man. Which it may be just because. The fact, Scott Wilson passed away recently, so that might have been why it was even more sentimental to me watching it. But I thought that was great too, man. They were at the farm, Herschel's farm. I just thought it was beautiful. But I did love that. The Shane and Rick was fantastic.
Yeah, you could definitely see that Herschel had kind of, he'd kind of aged a little bit since the last we'd seen him. You could tell he was sort of, on
well,
his
and
way
he had
out,
shaved too. He was kind of more back to like season 2 Herschel than the kind of rugged season 4 Herschel that we lost. I think the on-screen chemistry between Andrew Lincoln and John Bernthal is awesome. If Shane and Rick, I think that they, even when people like talk about how much they didn't like season 2, I think that's why I love season 2 so much, is because John Bernthal and Andy Lincoln are so great on screen together. I really do hope maybe we get to see them. And maybe not in the same roles. Like maybe they could reverse it. Andy Lincoln be the douchebag and John Bernthal be the straight shooter. But I just think that they have great on-screen chemistry together.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see them in a project together. Andrew Lincoln could, actually be what he is, be a British guy.
Right.
I don't know what John Bernthal would be doing. But, yeah, that'd be great. Like a weird kind of buddy.
Put Andy Lincoln on The Punisher.
Oh, my God.
Let him be like one of the villains, man.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Would be crazy.
Just I have no doubt that I wouldn't want to see Andrew Lincoln as a bad guy, but at the same time, I have no doubt that he couldn't nail it because he's an amazing actor.
No kidding.
So moving past the hallucinations, tell us what else you did and didn't like about this episode.
Man, I thought it was great past that.
Were you on the edge of your seat the whole time when he kept falling asleep on the horse?
Yeah, and I'm telling you, that bridge ended up being a lot stronger than they expected. It was holding everybody, and thank goodness they're a little haphazard with their dynamite and just kind of leave it laying around. But
I'm telling you, the scene where he's just like, I found him, and then he pulls the trigger. Oh my God! Like that's when my girlfriend lost it. That's when I just heard from the other side. And seeing Daryl cry, that was really emotional, man. Like that was
walks into the woods.
Yeah, I thought that was great. He and Michonne's reactions just really drive it home. It was already sad, and then you see, the tough Daryl crying, and I thought Daryl stole it with his crying, and then Michonne, of course, just losing it. And I just everything. I loved that scene. I love that they all showed up at the end. I love that they were rushing to try to help Rick, and Rick's like, no, tell him to go on. And what did you like or not like about all of that, though?
Well, I think for one thing, I know that Daryl and Rick kind of made peace when they parted ways on the last episode, but at the same time, Daryl, they definitely left on kind of a sour note.
Do you think that's why Daryl just walked off?
Yeah, because at this point he doesn't have his chance to really make peace with it. Because they didn't like hug it out or anything at the end, did they?
Not really. Rick saved his life. See, that's the difference between Shane and Rick and Daryl is Daryl and, Shane and Rick, when Shane got mad, even at that place and they had been fighting, Shane threw a wrench at him and still tried to kill him. Whereas, him and Daryl fight and Andrew Lincoln still, comes back for him. And it's just that kind of friendship is. And so I think it kind of went without saying because Rick did come back and save Shane too. It's just the kind of person he is. But I would never, expect nothing less from him and Daryl. Like, they fight, but Daryl's his brother. And I think Daryl knew that, but it's still, like you said, he left it without a chance to really look him in the eye and be like, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they didn't, officially reconcile, so to speak.
But when Rick reached out his hand and was like, I can't remember word for word what he said, but, he's like, come on, brother, or grab my hand. He called him brother.
Right.
I think that was kind of the moment where Daryl realized, okay, so we're, again, having a little spat, but, this is still my brother. He would never try to hurt me, because Rick could have just been, I was just waiting in that episode 4, for like a Scar and Mufasa moment for Rick to have him up there, and Daryl's like, pull me up, and then Rick's like, long live the king, and just throw Daryl back into the pit. And
have you ever seen the Tourette's guy voice that scene from Lion King?
I was just watching something. I was watching that guy the other day, man, with all the song remixes they did.
Right, yeah.
But
yeah, man, just and that's another thing. Rick saved Daryl's life just earlier that day, and Daryl couldn't.
After Daryl betrayed him to an extent, you know what I mean? Like, Daryl betrays him, and then Rick still saves his life, and then Daryl parts ways, and the next time he sees him, he's bleeding out and dying, and to Daryl's knowledge, he's dead. Daryl just watched him sacrifice himself. So
powerful stuff. And, man, something we haven't even mentioned yet, the Negan Maggie confrontation.
It's crazy because I think that was issue like 174 or something. That was pretty recent in the comics, like within the last year or so.
The setting was a little different, but the sentiment was very
Well,
similar.
it was the same thing. Negan on his knees. Like you said, different location. He wasn't in prison. They just, crossed paths out on the road. But, Negan on his knees and just like, kill me. I deserve it. I want to be with my wife. Like,
yeah, that is something I will say. I think a little bit better storytelling in the comic. I don't want to get super spoilery with the comic, but the jail experience didn't really break Negan in the comic.
Right. Oh, no. He had a sense of humor the whole time.
Yeah, he still had a larger game plan. And maybe that had to do with, again, a little spoiler, but not a big spoiler. Carl was kind of visiting him.
Right.
And whereas... Well, nobody really messing with him, in this situation. But I think I guess
they did it because they had to move the story on along. You know what I mean? Like, with Rick leaving, too, because so much of Negan's endgame revolved around Rick. And so much of what Negan was doing in the comics revolved around Rick, whether it was, the Whisperer thing. I won't spoil it, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm doing a motion.
Right.
Whether it was that, he had plans. He kind of knew what he wanted to do. And so, but with Rick leaving this episode, they probably were like, well, we can't do any of that. So we kind of got to rush the whole Negan thing along just to get him to that point. They say by the end of the season, we'll love Negan. I already love Negan, but we'll love him in a different way.
I was going to say, it looks like he will have some company, pretty similar to the comic book before long.
Yeah.
The way things are looking. But did you think in that moment he was playing Maggie? Like he was going to make a run for it? No?
Because we had seen the comics. Because we had read the comics. And I know they deviate, but
my pal Skippy, he thought that he was going to pull one over on Maggie, like goad her into opening the door or whatever. And
here's one thing. All right, I watched it twice and I rewound with this part, but I don't know, because Maggie hits the lock. It's okay. So this is when Negan is in the jail cell and she's like, get on your knees, and he's describing killing Glenn to her, and he says, I used to say I didn't enjoy killing. And he was like, that was a lie. And then he says, but your husband. That was different. And then Maggie hits the lock right when he says, does he say that was fun? Or that was, what did he say? Tell me in the comments, because I rewound it yesterday and I had a lot going on yesterday. So I watched it in parts, but I couldn't understand what he said, just the way that my TV volume was, I guess. But like the lock was turned right. I think he said that was fun, but I don't know.
We'll have to, when we get done with the cast, we'll have to do a little rewind and see what's going on.
But with Michonne and Maggie, I was thinking, Maggie, please don't do it. This is Michonne, man. Like, and I know Michonne is, Michonne's compassionate. Like, I have no doubt she would have not tried to mess Maggie up. She would have tried to subdue her. But, it's like, Michonne's a beast, man. Like, don't. Look how much bigger the governor was than her, and she still hung with the governor. She's a monster. Like, don't go poking. And I did like that, because Maggie had some great points. She's like, if he butchered Rick in front of you. I
was gonna say that's another. Maggie, like the last time she Rick comes out of her mouth before he dies is to Michonne, talking about him getting killed,
One could argue it's entirely her fault, which, again, I'm not saying it is. So people just immediately jump to the comments section and are like, no, it's not. I'm just saying. I'm talking about just looking at it from different ways. If she would have never went to the camp to kill Negan, then Rick would have never went back to, been headed back to Alexandria. Therefore, he would have not hopped on the dirt bike with Daryl, gotten thrown in the hole, and got in front of the blah, blah, blah. The herd was, whatever.
She did set that in motion.
She kind of had a part of making that happen. And I think maybe there will be some guilt there for that. Like, I don't think that, I think that she's going to feel some guilt when we come back 6 years later.
Man, I hadn't even thought of that.
Mm-hmm. That's probably Daryl's problem too. Daryl probably feels some guilt for that. I mean, the only reason they were where they were was because Daryl took him out of the way.
There you go, Daryl. You turn on your pal. Letting a woman get in your head. He was probably thinking about that butt, and no, probably not. But he probably was just thinking about Negan's butt and how he wanted to, see it dead. So I'm kidding around. Nonetheless, Daryl, yeah.
Right.
Not nice to let a woman do the thinking for you.
Yeah, well, he definitely, again, and I think we're going to see some regret, but that's the thing. We had this, some of these things go around in circles. We had Daryl feeling guilt for the death of someone else. Was it season 7? Yeah, because he felt responsible for Glenn's death. And then he had his moment with Maggie, and Maggie, told him it wasn't his fault, whatever. So, I mean, we're going to have, but I think this time it's a lot more, I am enjoying it. I like Daryl's character. I keep smacking the mic this morning. I apologize for that.
A lot more complex, Yeah, more stuff going into his way of thinking. Him and Maggie definitely had an axe to grind more so than almost anyone. That's for sure. But
yeah, I don't know, man. It was okay. So here's what I want to tell you. I'm skipping ahead a little bit because we're going to talk about Judith. We're going to talk about all that. Did you watch any scenes from the next?
I haven't watched. I like to go in as fresh as a newborn baby.
Oh man, you are in for some treat. But you're in for some treat. You're in for some. You're in for treat.
Give me some.
You're in for a treat.
Treat is a potted meat similar to Spam. So I really wouldn't like that at all.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like a generic kind of Spam. Yeah.
I thought Spam was like generic meat.
No, well, I mean,
so there's like a great value version of Spam.
Yeah, well, it's not great value. It's just like a lesser like label, like Treat with 2 E's.
I've learned with stuff like that, man. Like cheap tuna. Yeah. A lot of times with name brands, it's not everything, but I've gotten cheap tuna before, and it's been crunchy and had some weird gritty stuff in it, and it's been consistent too. Like I thought, that was one can. Got another can like down the road, same deal, and I was like, "Yep, I'm going to quit eating this cheap tuna before I end up not liking tuna." Because
the only tuna I eat is in the little fresh seal pouches now.
That's what I get. Yeah, I love those, man. Yeah. But no, okay. So on The Talking Dead, there are going to be 3 Rick Grimes movies.
A movie trilogy.
Movie trilogy with Rick, and they're going to be AMC. Well, he said most likely AMC. They're going to be TV movies, but they're going to be, the same scale as like a major production. So like we are going to see, and Jadis is going to be in it too. So that was confirmed by Scott Gimple on the thing. And some people are, not happy because of the way, but I mean, it is Rick Grimes' final episodes. They didn't lie about that. I'm still not 100% convinced he won't somehow, because if he doesn't make it back, then that either means that Michonne and them are going to go to him, or he's going to die before he gets back to them. You know what I mean? Like, which that probably is what's going to happen. Michonne and Judith just think he's dead somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping for a major theatrical release.
I was
like
too.
An R-rated Walking Dead movie. But I understand there's a lot of, I guess a lot more money involved in that, and marketing and blah 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 blah.
And I guess they want to, AMC's, kind of giving them the platform, so they want to be good to AMC, I guess. Or AMC was like, look, you can do it, but you got to do it on this channel. I don't know. Yeah, I was too, but not. And what's bad is like right now, I started to make a meme and put it on the Facebook, and I didn't get a chance to because, like I said, I had a lot going on yesterday. But like they are talking about maybe doing a Carol and Daryl movie. Like what was it? It was somebody else. So I wanted to be like they'd be like Scott Gimple, be like and have like the Oprah, like you get a show and you get you get a movie and you get a movie and you get a movie. But yeah, so. But be looking for that. So, yeah, no, we're not completely left in the dark with Rick.
Well, exciting stuff coming down the pike.
You did realize that was the same song at the end of this episode that was at the end of the very first episode. The welcome to my world that was playing as he flew off in the distance before the time change.
I feel like maybe I realized it in the moment, but now that you're saying
right,
it,
that was the end of episode 1 when he was in the tank, and I remember it because I actually liked that song when I'd heard it on the show. But that was when the camera was panning up after he heard Glenn, and the camera was panning up, and you saw all the zombies around the. We got the mic set up a different way today, and I keep hitting it, so that's why you keep hearing me bump into the microphone and the mic stand because we tried to do something different with the mics today, and apparently it's not working. Or I just need to quit using my hands so much when I talk. But yeah, that was the same song that they ended the first episode with. A lot of callbacks to the first season. I loved him. Did you like him in the hospital?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, talking to himself. Yeah. That was great. Yeah.
And you noticed the rebar wound was where the gunshot wound was. So it was kind of the same situation. He's holding his side and looking for his family. I love the crows, man. Or those blackbirds, whatever they were, like they were flying in the distance, and then they ended up becoming helicopters.
Yep.
I thought that was really cool.
I guess he kind of had a sense of what was coming. I don't know.
Well, and
he saw a helicopter.
I was going to say, and it's a callback because he saw a helicopter last season, and he also saw a helicopter in that very first episode.
Yep.
So it kind of fits in with where he was, hospital to, in Atlanta's where he saw the helicopter. So while, like I said, I thought it was definitely a little bit of foreshadowing, it also, too, though, it fit, even if he wasn't going to leave on a helicopter, because he did see a helicopter in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great, man. I'm not going to lie. I gave this one 5 out of 5 yesterday, and after watching it the second time, I still don't take that back. I can see where people could pick it apart, where there were things that some people aren't happy with, but the way I personally felt, I'm not rating it based on what you felt or what someone, the way I felt, I felt happy. Like I just was content when it ended.
Now, I'm curious. I know you keep up a lot more with like the feedback, the critics, the different people. What are people saying about the helicopter ending?
It just depends. I think IGN said something crappy about it. I saw another article in my Google News feed that was like, what did it say? It said something to the effect of like how The Walking Dead screwed over its viewers or something. But I'm like, well, that sucks you felt that way because I didn't feel screwed over. I thought it was great. And an interview with Andrew Lincoln, too. He was talking to Yvette Cole Brown because on The Talking Dead, and Andrew Lincoln wasn't actually on it, but Nicole Brown, she had interviewed him in London, and they played it, on the show. And there actually was like different versions. There was a version of the script where he died last season. Remember when he was sitting against the tree?
Yeah.
After the
thing with Negan.
Yeah, like that. There was a scene where there was a version where he just died right there. Because he said he tried to get out of it before, like that season, season 8.
What, tried to leave the show?
Yeah, he wanted to be, but to which I don't know, man. I was going to say, so all right, moving past the. Rick leaving. What did you think of the Judith and Magna and all that, like flash forward scene?
I thought it was beautiful. What'd you think of the gun she was using? Did you buy that like a little girl using that? I know you're like a gun spurt.
No, I'm not a gun spurt. I enjoy
I was like,
shooting guns.
That's like a hand cannon for
It's a 357 Magnum, which is not an easy, and it does have a 6-inch barrel, which means it's easier to it kind of controls the recoil because there's more weight on the front to stabilize it. But this is a 10-year-old little girl, man.
Yeah.
I remember being 10, 11, 12, and shooting like a 45 for the first time, and it being way different than any other of my dad's guns that I shot. My dad was in the military, and I shot guns a lot growing up, and he's very gun safe. All of that before people are like, "You were 10 and shooting guns." Yeah, but my dad was extremely safe.
Even
and
me, I was
trained in it,
shooting like the 12 gauge and stuff, and knocking me on my ass every time.
I had a 20 gauge, believe it or not, that kicked harder than any 12 gauge. It was a New England model. Yeah, New England single shot 20 gauge. You put 20 gauge and you put some buckshot in there. That sucker had some kick. I remember my grandpa, and he wasn't a huge guy, but he was always kind of a, I don't want to say he just was a full guy. Like, he's a good size, he was shorter, but I remember him shooting it and just being like, whew, wow, like, geez. But no, I thought the same thing. I meant to say it yesterday, but I was alone. You abandoned me yesterday, so I didn't know.
You would not have wanted my company.
I really didn't.
I can tell you.
I still don't know if I'm comfortable with it. I started
to send you some disturbing images just so you knew I wasn't, won't playing. But,
I believed you. But I did think that, and I forgot. Like, number one, how did she find the gun? You know what I mean? I guess maybe I hope that they show someone like they're looking through the rubble and they find Rick's gun or something because, you know, he blew up. So and that gun looked mighty clean to have just been through some kind of explosion. I'm guessing somebody polished it. But I thought the same thing. I was like, you know, she's got a little mini machete, and I understand the symbolism of the Python because that thing is a Colt Python, which is a 357 Magnum. Now the Colt also had another gun called the Anaconda, which was a 44 Magnum. And I think they've messed up in the show a couple of times because Shane called it a 357 Magnum at one point. But then when Rick's talking to the Terminus people about his, you know, the bag of guns that were in the woods, he says something about a 44 Magnum. And it's something else they've said that made me realize, like, okay, when he said 44, he was referring to that Python, but that Python's a 357, not a 44 Magnum. Because if that was a 44 Magnum, that little girl would not be shooting it like that. 44 Magnums have got a little, you know, got a little bit of a kick to them.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like a 22 rifle would have been a little bit more.
22, 9mm, 38, something like that would be more manageable for a kid that size. So like you said, 22 would be perfect for someone that size.
Rifle, but good aim, you know, still enough to go through a rotten zombie skull.
Oh, yeah. Well, they got a lot of great 22 pistols, man. Yeah, like I've got what do they call those? Are they Rough Riders? I've got one that's a single action, and it's, well, you saw it. Remember the gold one that we went shooting that time? Yeah. Like something like that would be perfect. No recoil, but a 357 Magnum, or if it's intended to be, even though a Colt Python is a 357 Magnum, I've always wanted one. I'm about to get a Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum, which they don't make anymore. It's super nice, but I've always wanted the Colt Python. Even long before The Walking Dead, I always thought that was just for me, the king of 357s, like that I wanted, you know. But but they mentioned that it's a 44 a time or two, so I know that little girl ain't shooting a 44 like that. Not that accurate, not that, you know.
You would think somebody on set would like connect the dots and be like, hey, guys,
this gun's a little too powerful for that little girl. She's only 10, and she's tiny on top of that.
And somebody's like, she's a Grimes, damn it, she'll shoot what she wants.
Do you know who that little girl was? She's also in another franchise that you love.
Game of Thrones?
No.
No. Doctor Who?
Nope.
I don't know.
Use the Force, JP.
Is she from Star Wars?
Young Rey, yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Well, howdy doody.
So yeah, she's in 2 franchises that you like.
All right.
So, but yeah, no, I did think that. I was like, I know we got off on a tangent about guns there, and I apologize, but I don't know how to act now that I got somebody else in studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely was like, no, I don't think that she would be handling that 357 Magnum like that. But unless she was shooting 38 specials through it. Now, keep in mind that 357 does shoot 38 specials.
Okay.
And 357 ammo, you know, maybe they had trouble finding it, and they, you know. So, I mean, there's ways around it. Maybe she was just shooting 38s. But still, that gun you would think would be too heavy for her.
That's a big old
gun. It's a 6-inch barrel, you know,
Yeah.
or 5 or 6 inch. I know my Smith & Wesson that I'm getting has a 6-inch, and it's about the same size, but it's a long barrel. I mean, it's got to be heavy for a little kid.
I don't know, man. She's been doing her curls or something. I don't know.
doing her little wrist curls,
something.
getting her forearm strong. But yeah, how did you like that though? I mean, I liked her pick. I mean, it was kind of cliche and corny. I know. Like, it was like part of me was like, oh man, and then the other part was rolling my eyes when they were like, "What's your name?" And you knew the answer was going to be Judith Grimes, but she stopped and picked up the hat. Dusted it off, put it on, Judith Grimes. But I still thought it was awesome.
Before she got the hat, I thought maybe they were going to introduce a Clementine from the games and books or whatever.
Yeah, speaking of which, the games that you haven't played yet.
Well,
people have been commenting, JP. They want you to play these games.
What, they don't want me to touch that stuff?
They're getting tired of your job getting in the way of the YouTube channel.
They say that stuff will rot your mind, you know, all them video games. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would have been really cool to see Clementine come into the show.
Yeah, that was
She's
my
such a
first
great
thought,
character.
Because I forgot about the time jump, you know. I thought it was going to be further towards the mid-season finale. But.
Yeah, and we got some scenes from the new episodes, and let me just say, man, there's definitely, like, Michonne's got a sweet new hairdo.
Oh, okay.
It looks badass.
All
yeah,
right.
it's definitely different. And then Carol looks like Orlando Bloom straight off the set of like Lord of the Rings, with long hair and stuff.
I wonder what if Michonne's going to have a similar love interest that she had in the comic around this time. I'm not going to throw it out there.
I'm trying to think of who you're talking about.
I think you know.
No, she can't because that can't happen. No.
Well, I guess he is kind of taking it.
Yeah. No. I don't
Maybe
think that's
there'll be
gonna
a
happen.
thruple. Maybe it'll be some nice.
There'll be a polyamorous relationship.
Maybe so. I mean, hey, it's a new world, baby. Let's throw out all the rules.
Yeah. Hey, right.
Yeah. I've been preaching that just in my own life.
Nobody's listening, but you've been preaching it.
Nah, it's been falling on deaf ears of late.
No one will play along. JP's like, I don't know why my girlfriend's not cool with us having another girlfriend, but
yeah, especially being her, bisexual. You would think she would be much more open. Anyway, no, I'm not getting into all that. I love everyone.
I mean, if you want to get it off your chest, man, I'm interested. I'm sure this is not Walking Dead related, and I apologize, but I'm sure our listeners are interested. Feel
I know
free to
there's
continue.
a lot of listeners too, though, that mean just because someone's bisexual doesn't mean they want to be in like a polyamorous relationship.
I got
I'm
you.
sure
You're
it would
trying
be
to
insulting to certain people, and I'm not
Okay.
trying to be that. I jest. I'm just saying, two girls. I mean, come on, what guy wouldn't try to shoot for that? It seems like being that she's bisexual, it would just be a little bit more of an advantage to sway her towards the argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
But I'm not making the suggestion that bisexual people are just up for anything, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I love you.
Point proven. I
All,
will say JP loves everybody. I know that. I've known him for a while.
They're all welcome at JP's restaurant. So.
I don't want to eat at that restaurant. I'm scared of what I might find. I don't know. I'd be curious. Maybe I'd watch from the window for a while before I decided whether I wanted to come in there.
You'd come in. Believe me. You'd come in.
I really was trying to stop you. I heard you say it the first time, and I was trying to cut you off because. All right, let's rate the episode. I already rated the episode. What do you rate the episode?
I'll give it a 4.75 just because Sasha
didn't
fit in that one. Yeah, no, I guess if it's fingers, I would cut off like the top digit on my pinky.
I don't think we've ever had a 0.75.
Yeah,
That's
like
pretty
I said,
interesting.
just Sasha did. I would have loved to have seen her, but she just did not fit in that specific
Right.
flashback. I was kind of like,
I could agree with that.
They clearly just ran out of people who would answer the phone to be on this.
Because like I said, I had originally said Carl, but then a listener set me straight, and they were exactly right. Like it would have made no sense for it to be Carl, being he was looking for his family. Like now, somebody. Maybe it was our listener, David Ortiz, and if I'm not right, I'm sorry. But somebody commented, and it would have been cool if like Rick was like, like now he's a little more clear-minded as he's about to pull the trigger, and if he would have like saw Carl and like Lori standing on the bridge or something, But I know that kind of would have defeated the purpose. But but I agree with you, Sasha. It was really cool to see Sasha, like Sasha, just not quite where I would have put her, and especially being the last one. You know what I mean? Like the person that was the least close with Rick is the final person that he sees. Well, no, Michonne technically was. How did you like that? That was touching, man, when Michonne was talking to him.
That was poignant. Beautiful.
Very depressing when like they all run out and you're like, yeah, Team Rick. And then, they're all kicking zombie ass and Michonne's doing her thing and being all Michonne and awesome. And then, Rick's like, this isn't real. And she's like, yes, it is. Now you need to wake up. And I'm like, no. I wanted that. I was like, if he's going to die, I want that to be he and Michonne's last reaction. Last interaction, reaction. I really, and then when it cleared up, and sadly, no, the last thing Michonne saw of Rick was, she thinks she saw him dying.
Yeah.
Which in the preview, she said something like, I'll never give up or something. So maybe she's kind of looking for him.
Yeah. Because, I'm sure they didn't recover a body.
But after 6 years, Michonne.
Bodies.
Yeah, if you hadn't found him in 6 years after an explosion, I'm sorry. I would just assume that you were destroyed in the explosion.
Yeah, and I would have been rushing towards it, trying to, see if he was blown to safety somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you wait like a split second could be the difference between him laying there and you getting him, or, a couple of zombies chomping down on his innards.
Or him bleeding out.
Or any number of things.
The Walking Dead's infection rules are so loose, too. Like, technically in a river full of zombies, and tell me if I'm wrong. Like, I'm wrong a lot, so I don't mind being corrected. That's why I throw these questions out, just to get discussion going. In a river full of zombies and zombie guts and zombie bloods and zombie innards, you can get poison oak, and I know this because it's happened. You can get into a river, and if like some poison oak or ivy's like hanging into the river, and the water's washing it, it can get on you, and you can get poison oak's a bitch.
Oh yeah,
I hate it. I hate it. I think we should launch a worldwide genocide against poison oak ivy.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Like, just destroy it all. Screw it. But like, so if you can get poison oak from a river, then I would imagine that a river full of burnt, charred zombie guts and stuff. And Rick's got that open wound, and he was in the water. I mean, I feel like there's something in being realistic here. Like, I'm not saying Rick is infected, but don't you think that he would have had a pretty high risk of being infected?
Yeah, the risk was definitely there.
Unless we find out he's immune, which a lot of people have been saying that they think Rick's immune.
Really? I wonder where that's coming from. I haven't heard that.
Speaking of immune, side note, I've been watching an interesting show on Netflix. It's not that great, but it's not bad. It's called Rain. Mm-hmm. It's where it's like I think it was filmed in it takes place in Denmark. So I guess that's but it's in another language, but they dub over English, and it's not bad. Like I watched that show Dark, which was kind of the same way. It was another language, and they dubbed over with English. But it's on Netflix. It's actually pretty good. So, but it's like the rain, rain falls and it kills like everybody because it makes everybody infected with this. It kind of reminds me of The Stand, like Stephen King's thing, just where like a virus wipes, no zombies or anything, just wipes people out.
Yeah.
But that's pretty interesting. Also, the Haunting of Hill House. You should check that out. That's really good.
I used my sick day to catch up on Daredevil. I'm not all the way done.
I haven't finished that yet. I need to.
Yeah, really good though. I'm really liking this season.
I'm liking the Wilson Fisk, like in his head thing, I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But so, there's part 2 of our podcast. I know we got off track a lot this podcast, and I do apologize. I just hadn't seen JP in a couple of days, so we had to catch up.
Yeah.
But let us know again what you thought of the episode in the comment section if you didn't get to yesterday. Don't forget, if you want to ask a question for us to answer on our mail call video, which I'll be out of town Friday through next Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Well, Monday, but I'll be
you'll be back Tuesday.
I'm technically off work Tuesday, but between you and me, I'm going to come in and do the podcast, and then I'm going to go home.
Okay.
I got vacation days I got to use up, man.
Now hear that. Use them or lose them.
Yeah, because I will if I don't. But, so we'll do the mail call podcast tomorrow or Thursday. So any questions you want asked, please just like hashtag it mail call, and we're going to try to get all of them. I can't promise we won't miss them because we were very fortunate to have a lot of response. We totally thought just a few of you would ask questions, but we started seeing a lot of mail calls. So if we don't get your question in the mail call video, that'd be the best place to leave it. You know what I mean? Because
we love your feedback and your questions.
So if we don't answer your question this week, leave it in that mail call video, and I promise you we'll find it's easier because we can just go, like right now we've got to go through all the videos from the last few weeks and scroll through and find the ones we didn't answer, whereas when you put them in the mail call video, it's just easier to be like, all right, go to the mail call video and let's read out the questions. So start getting that going each week. But so let us know what you thought of the episode. Also, I just want to clear something up because we are in talks to do a collaboration with another
that's right.
Walking Dead YouTube channel. Yeah. And a lot of people were thinking it was 999 Gaming, which is a guy that does I've watched some of his videos, but a lot of what he does is like spoiler stuff, and I don't want spoilers. So I have watched some of his stuff, and I've enjoyed his videos for a while. But when it gets to the spoilery stuff, like from the Spoiling Dead and all of that, I don't really watch them. But it's not 999 Gaming. We definitely would not be opposed to doing a collaboration with him. But I don't want you to get your hopes up and be like, it's 999 Gaming, and then it not be.
This person,
and you be like,
sounds like a wonderful fellow.
Yeah, he does some good stuff. Like I said, the only reason I don't watch his stuff that much is because he does a lot of spoilers. And I don't like spoilers like straight up from like the Spoiling Dead and people on set. Like I like clues, you know what I mean? Like when we do our video of Will Rick live? Mm-hmm. We do it based off of like clues and things and the things that we've thought of and maybe rumors going around.
Yeah, we don't look for inside information
right.
to get
Whereas
the actual, what's going to happen, yeah.
Whereas he's, because I messed up. I think it was for the season 7 premiere. I messed up, and I don't know if it was his video or not. But it was somebody like that, and I messed up and ended up having the episode spoiled for me with Glenn and Abraham's death and the whole RV thing. And I was like, never again, man. If it says any kind of spoiler or things, I'm staying away from it. But so, no, it's not 999 Gaming. Definitely not opposed to a collaboration. Never talked to the guy, but it's another channel that is very awesome. Very, very awesome. And I don't want to say what it is just yet because we haven't gotten it all worked out. But we're pretty sure that we're going to collaborate and do some videos or podcasts together. So
I'm excited. Is he listened enough to really know what he's getting into?
I think so. Yeah. He sent me he gave me his email address and was like, shoot me an email.
Yeah, because I looked at his channel as well. It looks very like
like a lot better than ours.
Very well researched. It looks like a very like fact channel kind of thing.
Yeah,
very entertaining.
Yeah,
very
we get on
stuff.
here and just like.
Yeah.
Excuse my French, but we bullshit for like an hour, whereas he gets on there and actually informs you. So we might be out of our league here, but
we'll see.
But yeah, so we're excited about that. Be looking for that soon. I am going. You know what I'm going to do for you, JP?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do this for you because I know your other job is hard on you, and your most afternoons and nights you're working.
It certainly can.
I am going to bring my television and my PlayStation up here sometime within the week, and we are going to do those video games here.
All right. We can certainly look into that.
I download them on the computers, and we do it that way. But these computers, as you know, are butt.
Yeah, they're no good.
And I don't really feel like bogging them down any more than they already are. So, But I will bring my PlayStation. It'd be great if you could find a little TV.
Yeah, I've got a spare TV at the house.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
HD?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Problem solved then. I'll bring the PlayStation, you bring the TV. But yeah, so be looking for that Telltale Walking Dead game very, very soon now. And we love you. We appreciate you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
A lot to cover. I think we've hit just about everything.
Yeah. Let me just say, too, screw that horse.
Yeah.
Screw that horse in the game. Well, no, I can't say. I was going to say, normally it's like screw you and the horse you rode in on, but not screw you, Rick Grimes. Just screw the horse this time.
Yeah.
At the end, man, that horse finally was like, I'm out. Like when the zombies were coming through the camp, the horse was like, it showed that image of the horse just taking off horse, like, screw this, man. I'm done. I'm done. I was trying to help your injured ass, but then you bled all over me, and I put up with that, and now you got Jurassic Park zombies coming through, moving trees and shit. Right. I am out. So the horse just straight up left him. Yeah. That was cool, though. I liked when the zombies were coming through during the scene where, like, Rick looks up and you see the trees shaking, almost like Jurassic Parky, and then, just so many. And I love how big of a threat the zombies are.
Oh, yeah, they're back in full force now.
Robert Kirkman, I know one time seemed like he got irritated when somebody had mentioned, but I mean, it was getting to the point where the zombies really would just kind of like in the way for the human on human action. I like now that the threat is the zombies. Like, holy crap, there's a lot of them, and they are just relentless.
You got to think they're in like a major metropolitan area. There's going to be a lot of zombies still walking around.
Yep. So. Great episode, and I cannot believe it was only the fifth one. It felt like a mid-season finale, man. Like this season has just
Seems
been
like we should be waiting, for a couple months.
Yeah,
we don't have to wait.
What do you rate this season so far?
Ooh, baby.
Like out of 5, what would you rate this season so far? Just on how you've enjoyed it, the pacing, everything.
Based on like the hit and miss nature of the past couple seasons, I give it like a 5, just because I'm so happy that it seems to be back in stride.
I'm the same way. Some people not happy, and that's okay. Not everybody's going to like the same thing. That's why we have variety in this world. But I will say that for me personally, I give it like an easy 4.5 or 5 stars. Yeah. I've loved it. I was telling my buddy Cameron, who used to watch it really hardcore, and I think that what messed him up was someone spoiled because they were out of town him and his wife were on a honeymoon during the season 7 premiere, and people spoiled it on Facebook for who got killed by Negan.
Oh, what?
And he never went back and watched it after that. Like he just but I was like, dude, you could really, this is kind of like a soft reboot in a way. I said, you really, because a lot of things that you might have missed, they'll usually explain to some extent. I said, I really feel like you could, he's caught up to season 7. He knows that they went to war with Negan. Obviously they beat Negan. I was like, you could really just sit down and try. I was like, just try season 9, man. Just go back and watch the first few episodes. If you don't like it, then just be done with the show. But this season has really gotten me like a new level of excitement for it.
Oh yeah, it definitely feels like they fixed whatever was a little off.
Angela King on point.
So it seems.
So we definitely are loving
it. Conqueror. I like her.
There you go. Yeah. But hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. Please subscribe for more Walking Dead content and other content. I did a little Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay. It was fun. I might do some more. And I just kind of wanted to test it before we did the Walking Dead gameplay. I wanted to make sure I had everything in order. But subscribe for more content. We plan to keep this thing moving, and really, we've said it in the past 3 years, but really try to start adding more content and moving this channel forward. We appreciate you. Anything you want to leave them with, JP?
Whew. No.
It's messing me up having another person because yesterday I rolled solo and now I'm like, all right, wait a minute. I need
At this point, my mind's starting to wander. So probably,
yeah, me too. Probably time to wrap it up. Yeah. But we will catch you again tomorrow or Thursday. We're going to have our mail call. So, we'll see you very, very soon for the Podcasting Dead. I'm Justin.
We don't get a new issue of The Walking Dead tomorrow, do we, or do we?
We do.
Do we? So we might be talking about that.
Yeah, soon. Okay, yeah. Well, maybe we'll do that Thursday. We'll do a mail call and a Walking Dead.
Well, there you go.
So, boom.
You heard it here first.
2 more podcasts, at least this week, before I head out of town. So, we will see you within the next day or two. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.
Yeah.